Salve, amici, and hello, gentle viewers. Welcome to Imperator Rome, the brand new grand strategy game that just released today by Paradox Development Studio. Imperator Rome takes you back to the days of ancient Rome and gives you a chance to rule one of the empires or republics or other various forms of government that existed at the time. I've been really looking forward to this game ever since I played Europa Universalis Rome, which came out, God, a while ago. I want to say EU Rome came out either right after or right before EU 3. Europa Universalis 3. So, let's dive in. We're not going to play the tutorial. I'm going to dive right in because I'm insane. Okay. We begin the game on October 1st, 304 BCE. Just like with other Paradox games, you can find out people that they think are fun. So it gives you Phrygia, the Seleucids, Macedon, Carthage, Egypt, and Rome. There's also Maurya, the Mauryan Empire, over in India, and a few other interesting things. We're going to be playing as Rome, and I want to do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's Rome. The game is called Rome. It makes the most sense to me. The second reason I want to play as Rome is because they have a unique form of government that I think will be a lot of fun to play as. And third, it's considered the easiest of the three. A couple of notes about Roman history, for those of you who may not know it. You may see this acronym appear, which looks as AVC. It's actually AUC, for Ab Urbe Condita, based on the founding of Rome in 753, or in this case 754 BCE. That was how the Roman calendar worked. So while at this point in history, 300 to 304 BCE, we're about 100 years before the Second Punic Wars, and we're still a good 50 to 60 years before the First Punic Wars. No one else in the world would use this dating system except for Rome. So that's how we're going to be playing as Rome. An important setting, we have mixed gender rules. If mixed gender rules on, you can play with women getting the chance to rule, which obviously was not historical, but does provide an interesting way to play the game. I don't think that way, though. I think we'll keep it as is, just because this is going to be our first playthrough. As we play through, I'm going to talk about how the game works based on what I've seen through other playthroughs and my own experiences in games of this sort. So, before we so much as click on the start button, let's see what we've got. We've got the Republic of Rome. We get the Italic military traditions, which increases our fort defense. We can unlock some cool abilities. We have really good heavy infantry and good light cavalry to light infantry. We have an aristocratic republic. We are probably the only one in the game, would be my assumption. Our religion is Hellenic. And it's an important thing to remember. There's not a huge amount of difference between the Greek gods and the Roman gods, except the Romans have their own names for the gods, and the Roman sense of morals means that a lot of the Greek gods get toned down a bit. The British would call them all randy buggers, but yeah, not so much the Roman version of the Greek gods. Romans also have their own local gods called the Hestae that would look after the house. And every family had their own unique set of gods, in addition to the big gods that everyone believed in. We have Publius Sempronius Sophus. All Romans generally had 3 names, sometimes more, but generally 3. The first name was called the praenomen, like a first name in English. The second name was like a last name called the nomen, and then finally a cognomen. Something to separate them from other people, because there weren't very many different names in Rome. So if I walked into a bar and said, hey, Publius Sempronius, I'd probably get a few people to raise their hands. But Publius Sempronius Sophus, or the Wise, is going to tell us about one person. And he's pretty damn good. So let's talk about some of the numbers that you're staring at, so you can understand how the game works. First of all, every character in the game has 4 ratings. We have Martial, their ability to fight, lead troops. Finesse, the ability to talk to people. Convince people to do what you want them to do. Actually, that's charisma, which is oratory. Finesse is... See, there's not a huge amount of difference in finesse and charisma, in all honesty. But it kind of works here. And then finally we have Zeal, which is about religion. These are the 4 stats that govern your rulers and tells you who's good and who's not so good. We also have our population. We have 23 cities. And we have a number of pops. Pops are borrowed from Victoria 2, among other games. And they represent a certain unit of population. There's obviously way more than 394 people in Rome. And all pops in Rome Imperator are divided into... Imperator Rome. Are divided into 4 categories. We've got citizens, we've got freemen, we've got tribesmen, and we've got slaves. And they each do different things at different times, and we'll see more about that when we actually play the game. We have 4 feudatory states, which means we can integrate them later on and make our own realm bigger. I think that covers the basics of what we can see here. We're going to play with normal game configuration. I'm not going to play with Iron Man mode. Although I really do want achievements. But I already had the game crash when I was trying to load it. And so at least for this first series, we're not going to play with that on, as tempting as that might be. We're not going to play Observe, because that's lame. Oh god, that was loud. So loud. Okay. Senatus Populusque Romanus. The Senate and the people of Rome. For over 20 years, the nascent Roman Republic has fought a harsh campaign against the Samnite people to the south. Although victory often seemed far from grasp, the war ended in Rome's favor, resulting in the liberation of the important Greek city of Neapolis. The Samnites, however, having retreated to lick their wounds, are far from defeated. In north, the Etruscan people eye the expansion of the Republic with apprehension. To the south, myriad, that's a good Greek word, Greek city-states plot behind one another's backs, all the while appealing to their benefactors in Greece for aid. On the far-flung island of Sicily, the foreign invasion of the mysterious Carthaginian Empire threatens to upset the precarious balance of power in the region. Will Rome rise victorious, or fall to internal strife and barbaric hordes? The fate of the Republic rests in your hands. For the Republic! And there we go. Here's the map. I really like the way the map slides in this game. It's really cool. I love it. Right. So here are the Etruscans, and here are the Samnites mentioned in our introduction. We don't start the game at war with anyone, which is fine. But let's talk about the key aspects of the game that we really need to know to understand the game. First of all, these are all mercenaries. Mercenaries are a way to effectively add to your army without having to pay for them out of your own pocket, which is very good. Here is our army. We don't have a commander. We'll fix that here in a moment. But I want to use this to talk about the military. This game is, after all, called Imperator Rome. And if you weren't aware, Imperator does not mean emperor. It means commander. More along the lines of like a supreme commander. But it just means commander. Only later on, with the days of Gaius Julius Caesar, Octavianus, do we get that particular aspect of the game where it's being upgraded. So, ground rules. We are going to do our level best to not become an empire. I want to play the game as a republic as long as we possibly can. That is my objective. What is with the moose? Oh, shock action. I guess it makes sense. Anyway. So, if you've never played an EU game before, you might be a bit confused. You might not understand how the game works. So, let me enlighten you as to some of the basic precepts in the game. We'll start from the top left and work our way to the right. You have 260 denarii. The denarius was the amount of money used by the Romans. Technically it's denarii. There's two e's at the end to denote a plural. But we'll let that go for now. Sorry, I'm going to nerd out about the language. When I first became a historian, started studying history seriously, Rome was my favorite period, especially the Roman Republic. So this is right in my wheelhouse. We have 47,150 souls who can join our army. Which is, not going to lie, pretty solid. We have 200 military power, 200 civic power, 200 oratory power, 200 religious power. And these all serve various purposes throughout Imperator Rome. If you're familiar with EU4, this takes the place of the military, diplomatic, and... God, I've not played EU4 in so long. What the hell is the third power? It's military, diplomatic, civic, government? I cannot remember for the life of me. I deeply apologize for that. In any case, these are going to tick up over time based on the skill of our leader as well as a few other factors. So we look at military, for example, we're going to gain 5 points each and every month, which is really good. Our civic power will increase by 6 because we've got a pretty good leader. 5 for oratory power, and 6 for religious power. Stability is a good measure of overall how stable, fancy that, our empire is. Our republic is, I should say. Because one of the challenges in this game is not so much keeping your family together. That's more of a Crusader Kings thing. This is about keeping your empire, your country, your republic together. And so you see we get some pretty cool benefits. If this goes below 0, it gets worse. If it goes above 1, it'll get even better. We have aggressive expansion. The bigger we get, the more other people start to get concerned about us. When you hit the mark of 50, you'll start seeing lots of people do nasty things, trying to keep you from getting out of hand. And finally, tyranny. There are certain things within the game that we can do, like arrest people, that'll make them kind of pissed at us, and we don't want that. And so, Imperator Rome offers you several different units with which to build your military. If we take a look... No, this is what I wanted. Record cohorts. We have archers, Sagittarii. We have camels, Dromedarii, Carri, chariots, equites, light cavalry, Principes. This is heavy infantry, equites, Sagittarii, horse archers, auxilia. These are your light infantry, or sorry, these are your light cavalry. Velites is of light infantry, war elephants, and triremes, which are your ships. Unlike EU4 and other Paradox games, these units will not change over time. We'll pretty much have them from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And so each unit offers certain advantages. For example, Sagittarii, our archers, take a little more morale damage than we might like, but they don't have very much weight in terms of attrition. They're really good against light infantry, and they can hold their own against war elephants, heavy infantry, horse archers, and chariots. By contrast, our heavy infantry is pretty much great against everything except for horse archers and like cavalry. So this is a good backbone for your army. They are fairly expensive, but they're still pretty solid. Our heavy cavalry, on the other hand, isn't so good against heavy infantry. So everything has kind of a counterbalance. It's sort of a rock, paper, scissors, but with a lot more moving parts. Notice that cavalry takes up a lot more supply than, say, our auxiliaries do. They also take less damage to their morale, which is really good. And so this is what we're faced with in the game. Other versions of Paradox games have much more complicated militaries. This is not the case here. I'm going to close this. We'll click on our army. We've got 5 heavy infantry, 5 light cavalry, 5 archers. So one of the things that you need to do to prepare an army is you're going to need to pick... Okay, so flanking cohorts go on the flanks, archers are going to start, and then the secondary will sit in the second row and do the heavy damage. And we can move people around and decide what order we'd like to have them in. I want my heavy infantry up front. And maybe put the archers in the back. What we'll do is we'll try it. Because this is what makes the most sense to me. The other possibility would be having light infantry in the front rank, and then these guys in the back. The one thing I don't know is I don't know how the game handles ranged units. Yeah, we're gonna put archers in the first rank. Because otherwise, if they beat the heavy infantry, they'll chew through the archers like there's no tomorrow. And we will build and change our armies as you go through. There's also various tactics. We don't have many to start the game. We have shock action, envelopment, skirmishing, deception, and bottleneck. Because of our current military's composition, we're favored to do bottleneck or deception, which will help us against specific other enemy tactics. I think we're going to pick bottleneck for now. We're not so great against skirmishers or cavalry, but we're pretty good against everything else. I think that's a good starting tactic. Okay. So enough about armies. Let's talk about the rest of the stuff up here and start to make our first decisions in the game. Nation overview. This is what our nation is all about. This is what makes Rome Rome. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick our ideas, and we'll do that here in a second. So we have a civilization level of plus 40. Civilization matters more for individual provinces than it does for the country as a whole, and we'll look at that when we get to the province view. We have 23 cities, 394 pops, 0 aggressive expansion, and then no country modifiers right now. If we pick certain bonuses, we will get a matching bonus, which increases our loyalty, makes our freemen happier, and gives us +1 to all 4 stats. So let's find some ideas. So we want 2 military and 1 oratory. Okay, and these will all cost us oratory power to use. So, a boost to morale is really good. Morale is what people have before they run. We have permanent shipyards, and we have ordered retreat, which increase our ability to reinforce our units and improves our morale recovery. We can unlock some others as we improve our technology. We're not going to be building ships very much in the beginning, so this is kind of an obvious choice. Martial ethos and ordered retreat. We're halfway there, we just need to find an oratory idea. We can reduce corruption, but here's the thing. A natural reduction to corruption isn't the best use of our resources, because we can just choose not to take free money. We can improve the loyalty of our generals and our admirals, which is very tempting. Or we can improve our opinion maximum. And I think we're going to take military administration. One of the cool parts of Imperator Rome is the idea that every character in the game has loyalty. If they become disloyal, they can do things either from not work as hard as they could to outright civil war. So we want to make sure the important people are happy. And now we get our active bonus. Hooray! And just like that, we're off to a good start. We are of the Latin group. Culture matters because people that share your culture tend to be happier when they're part of your empire. We'll take a look at provinces here in a little bit. Notice, by the way, that they all have 100% loyalty, but that'll change over time. Almost everyone in our empire is Latin. Almost everyone has Hellenic religion. And we probably have a bit more tribesmen than we want. We may want to consider promoting them at some point. No risk of civil war, no risk of rebellion. A good start. Our next button is the government tab. And first of all, this shows us the Senate, and this tells us which factions are currently running things. And we're going to need to make some people happy, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So we have 5 factions in the Senate. And different things happen if you're part of different factions. So we belong to the Civic faction. The Civic faction involves a reduction in build cost, build time, and a boost to national tax. There's the Military faction, which improves the morale of the armies and navies. Mercantile faction, increased commerce and your diplomatic reputation. Religious faction, omen power and converting pops is cheaper. And the Populists, who just make everything harder. No one likes the Populists. Right now, we currently have, let's see, 20 civics, 20 military. Ah, you can see right there. We have 20 of everything. There we go. Because we have a republic, our government will change over time, and we'll need to make some decisions about that. We have 8 people that currently serve as our... serve us in various ways. We have the censor. Remember, in Latin, the C is always hard. There is no soft C in Latin. The censor is the chief magistrate. And they help us improve our influence on the Senate. In other words, he helps... He acts more like a whip in the American government system for our purposes in the game. In other words, it pulls the Senate towards us. It makes people more likely to like us. And each month, these 2 factions will become more powerful. We have the Praetor. He's responsible for managing our aggressive expansion. The Tribunus Militum, who improves our discipline. Discipline is your ability to inflict casualties. The Praefectus Militaris, who increases our national tax. The Augur, who improves our omen power. The Pontifex Maximus, literally Chief Bridge Builder, also the title of the modern-day Pope, which makes it easier for us to improve our stability. The Tribunus Plebis, kind of the common people, and he makes freemen happier. And the Vulnerarius is the senior doctor. So we can give certain people jobs. And we've got a lot of people right now that are pretty pissed off at us. There's a lot of families who are mad that they don't have roles in the government. They have to earn a certain amount of money before they're happy. So this is a good time to talk about characters. This is Quintus Fabius Rullianus. He's 52 years old. He's an awesome character. He's got 10 martial, 8 finesse, 7 oratory, and 6 religion. A personal wealth of 600 denarii. And he has a few traits. Let's click on him to see what his traits mean. Victorious improves his popularity and his prominence. He's prominent, but he's also stubborn, which helps offset some of this. Better local fort defense. So when someone's a governor, different traits go into effect, which is pretty cool. So these are certain things that the Senate has to agree for us to do. So, what are the other stats that matter? He's content. He doesn't have an ambition, so I don't need to worry about as much as I do for others. His health is 100%, meaning he's not likely to die anytime soon. His popularity is 70%. As people become more popular, they have more sway in the way that the Republic runs things. A popular general can be very dangerous because there's a chance that the army will be loyal to him rather than loyal to you in the state. Loyalty is how likely they are to revolt, and corruption is simply how corrupt they are, how likely they are to do certain things, break the law, things of this nature. Everyone's got a culture and a religion. He belongs to the military faction, and he's got a fair amount of Senate influence. There we go. And here we go. This is how you kind of get a Crusader Kings level influence in the game. I could become friends with him, which is pretty cool. So, we would like to make people like us more. Oh, you know, we might need to unpause the game and let it calculate who's actually is properly scorned. People who are scorned are going to start losing their loyalty, and we don't want that. So let's move on for right now. We have our military. We can predict some pretty powerful traditions over time, but that'll take a while. We can show our stats. And this tells us all of our statistics in the game. Breaks it down a little bit more if you want to. So everything has an offensive value, discipline, which is your ability to inflict damage, movement speed, defense, morale, and maintenance. We have a good chance to enslave people if we defeat them in battle, good discipline, good fort defense, and pretty good morale. So different things will change this over time, but this is just a nice handy view of the stats. And that's it for the military tab. We need 800 military power to get our first tradition, so that's going to be a while. Technology. I really love the way Imperator Rome does technology. So every technology leads to 3 inventions. And each invention gives you a very specific bonus. When you get a new tech level, you get a certain level of boost, you get an immediate benefit, but more importantly, you unlock more inventions. So we've got a researcher in each of the 4 fields that we can upgrade as we need to make certain families happier. We're going to take our first invention. It costs 100 oratory, not 100 oratory, 100 in civic. So we can actually take 2 if we want to. We're going to take herbalism, which increases our ability to research technology. 1 more. And let's go heavy tech to begin with. We're going to take military artisans to improve our ability to research and tech. Bam. There we go. So everyone here gets a +5, and then some of our people are badass. Some of them aren't quite so good. Economy. This is how much money we're earning versus how much money we're losing. You can also spend money to get points in various ways. Your return isn't great, but it is a possibility. There are various things we can do to improve our money. We can cut certain values of pay. For right now, we don't need to mess with it. We'll really start earning money once we get our tributes from our people, and once we start getting our commerce locked and loaded. Diplomacy. This is how we manage our relations with the other countries of the world. We're probably going to want to make some friends, but this is a good chance to talk about country ranks. Every country in the world has one of several ranks. You can be a city-state, which is the lowest. Sorry, I guess a migrant horde's the lowest. But you can be a city-state, a local power, a regional power, a major power, or a great power. We are a local power. But we won't be for long, because we have quite a few cities. We need 2 more cities. And then we can become a regional power. I don't think there are any great powers at the game's state. Psychia, interesting, is pretty powerful. Okay, Phrygia is a major power. Yeah, there are no great powers at the start, though. But yeah, there's a few powerful people, and we'll want to try to make some friends with some of them at some point in the game. For right now, though, we won't mess too much with it. Here's our diplomatic relationships. We have 4 subjects. They give us military access. And we're currently trading with Syracuse. We're going to want to change our trade routes in the not-too-distant future. Aggressive expansion, diplomatic reputation. We have reduced aggressive... Oh, we didn't talk about laws, did we? We'll get to that in a moment here. Oh, we can have 2 diplomatic relations. We'll want to take it. And then there's this, which is your stance. You can spend money to change your stance, which will affect the way you look at things. We can... Our neighbors don't like us quite so much because we appear to be warlike. But we can change that as we need to. For now, though, I think being warlike is fine. Let's go back to laws. So these are different things we can do or pass that can change the way we play the game. And you can see there's a whole bunch of them. It costs 250 ability, or what is it called? Oratory power to enact a law. And I believe the Senate also has to approve it. I don't think you have to pay them in order, but yeah, so there's different bonuses and negatives to each law. And these are things we're going to want to consider later on. Princeps Civitatis. So these will affect the way that we do our laws. This reduces the influence of the populist faction. We can increase the term of the election, eventually to the Lex Antonia, which actually reduces it. And finally, we can basically create an empire. But it's obviously going to take us a long time to get there. And you have to be a populist to do it. We can spend some oratory to endorse a specific faction if we so desire. Here are some military reforms. There's some good stuff in here. And we're going to want to consider that as the game proceeds. Okay. Decisions. These are a few things we can do. We can make a dictatorship. We can proclaim different forms of republic. We can expand the Campus Martius. which increases our ability to recruit people. And we can build a fancy temple. We're going to want to do these two as soon as we can. These others we're going to deliberately avoid. Actually, I guess I don't mind us changing the form of the Republic. We can think about that later on. Trade overview. We have one import, we have one export. We're not going to allow trading to surpluses. As we expand, we'll get bonuses. If you have a surplus in the capital, you can gain some pretty cool benefits. We only have one route right now. It's being used. We won't mess with that for right now. Here's all the characters and all the families. So this tells us how much money they're making. We want people to be respected to the extent that they can be. Because scorned people are going to get angrier over time. And then finally mercenaries, and we can hire some of these people. You have to pay them to leave, which is pretty important. And so that's the basics of the game. Oh, one last thing. Let's take a look at a province, so we can see how pops work. So, our empire first of all, you have governor policies. And this tells your governor, this is how I want you to rule this area. Which involves different bonuses and decreases. This is what trade goods this this province has access to. Very handy. So these are all the provinces in our republic. So, this province produces olives, which makes slaves happier. It's a plains, which matters for terrain purposes. We have a civilization value of 40. So we can never be higher than that right now. And you can see the effects it has. It increases your supply limit, population growth, citizens are happier, freemen are happier, tribesmen are angrier. And this is our supply limit. Remember, weight isn't a 1-to-1 ratio. Certain units, as you saw earlier, support bigger armies, or have a higher weight. Others have a lower weight. How much money we earn each and every turn from here. So, slaves produce 150% output. Right now, because my slaves are really happy. They're in the capital region, the capital area, which helps them boost it. Tribesmen are a little bit less happy. Freemen a little bit less happy still. And our citizens are a little bit happier than that. But each one of these produces something different. Slaves produce base tax. Tribesmen produce a little bit of tax, a little bit of manpower. Freemen produce only manpower. And citizens produce commerce and research. So you cannot build an empire in Rome, Imperator Rome, without slaves. Because they're the best way to get a consistent base tax rate. But you can promote people, if you want to varying things. So if you decide, I'd like to promote some slaves, make some freemen, you have the right to do that. Convert them to a religion, convert them to a culture, and just tell them to move. And there's different reasons you might want to do that. So there we go. I think... Okay. So we need to find a... Oh, we didn't look at religion. We skipped over it. So, the first thing you can do on the screen is you can increase your stability. It's expensive. You can reduce war exhaustion by making sacrifices. It shows your national unrest, it shows your omen power, and our religious unity. So we have almost perfect religious unity. There's only 7 pops in all of Rome that are not Hellenic. So, we have 8 different choices. We can choose the Blessing of Mars, which gives us a boost to discipline, means more dead people in combat. The Blessing of Apollo boosts our manpower. The Blessing of Minerva, our research points. Blessing of Pluto boosts our tax. Blessing of Ceres boosts our population growth. Fortuna reduce national unrest. Commerce income blessing of Mercury. And aggressive expansion blessing of Jupiter. Let's eliminate some of these right away as being useless to us. We have no unrest. We have no aggressive expansion. So we don't want to bother with either of those. Ideally, we're not in a war right now, but we probably will be in the not too distant future. Because we're going to want to expand or die, and I would prefer very much to expand. So discipline is an option. But I really like the research game, and I think the Blessing of Minerva is a good place to start. How? Boost to research all across the board. One last thing about research. Where are you, research? Tech. Research is based on your ratio of citizens to remaining populace. We are currently making more research points than we have than we have people, and so therefore we're getting 123%. If we make more people citizens, we'll get more research and more commerce at the expense of less national tax. The idea being that as you progress through the game, you should be relying more on more on commerce, less on national tax. Okay, we need to name 2 commanders. So let's name our first one. We have a lot of families that aren't terribly happy with us. He's a member of the Fulvi family. The Fulvis are pretty happy. So we're going to look at Publius Cornelius Arvina. Low prominence means he's not likely to become a threat to us or become a consul. Loyalty is 70, meaning he's pretty loyal. And he's even from our faction. Easy choice. Publius Cornelius Arvina. Arwina. You're our army guy. Right away, this shows us the chance that in any individual cohort will become loyal to the general. Having cohorts become loyal to the general isn't in and of itself automatically a bad thing. Here's why. If they become personally loyal to their general, we stop paying for them. He pays for them, which could be pretty handy. Yeah, I'm just going to leave you as no objective right now. Okay. We might want to think about expanding this army later on. We definitely are going to want more armies before we decide to expand. I would really like to murder Samnium. I think it actually makes more sense to build a second legion rather than expand this one. 15's pretty good. And then our navy needs a commander. I'm not going to make myself the leader of the navy. How's the Tremulous family? They're pretty peeved too. So yeah, you can be our naval commander, our admiral. Alright, so let's think strategically. Where do we go from here? Our first medium-term goal should be unite all of Italy under our rule. We've got a few people that are our feudatory states. But Samnium offers a pretty logical beginning for two reasons. First of all, they have 3 forts, but they have a small army. If we right-click, we get their country. They only have 7 cohorts. They have no boats. They have half our manpower, low treasury. They are in an alliance with Lucania. Where are you, Lucania? Oh, you're directly south of them. How scary is Lucania? They have 12 cohorts and 2 ships. So we're actually outnumbered if we consider both of them. But we have allies of our own. I had no idea. This tells us the martial ability of the commanders. That's really cool. Let's start with an important decision. Let's go ahead and get you closer to the border. Okay. So we can probably take this fight. We can probably beat the Samnians if we want to. And the longer we wait, the greater the chance we're going to find more friends. I would like to wait a little bit, though. I'd like to start a new cohort first. Skirmishers are... Wellites are terrible at everything. So I don't think we'll mess too much with them. Let's get... Let's get 5 heavy infantry. So heavy infantry is great against everything but camels, horse archers, and light cavalry. We're not going to run into camels in Rome. That's not something we need to worry about. What's good against horse archers and cavalry? Equites, heavy cavalry. So let's start with this. Another 10,000 troops, half heavy infantry, half heavy cavalry. I think that's fine. The other thing we might want to do, let's quickly take a look at our government. Are there any families that we can improve upon? Okay. Fabius. The Fabian family's happy, though. Valerius. Not really an improvement there. A guy with 12 military, I would normally prefer to be in the field. But he's so good at improving discipline that I'd like him to be there. And I do like the national tax increase, too. We gotta have better finesse than 6. Okay, we've got quite a few people. Let's grab Gnaeus Ogulnius. We can tell he's not from an important family because he doesn't even have a third name. He doesn't have a cognomen. He's a little better at keeping freemen happy. And, that's good. Alright. Don't look now, but we're gonna unpause the game. We have a disloyal character. Gnaeus Flavius. Why are you unhappy? Doesn't tell me why he's disloyal. Oh, he's going to improve over time. Which faction does he lead? Ah, he's my populace, so he's always going to be angry. That's fine. And he's a loser in virtually every aspect of the term. I could hold games, and I gain a bunch of popularity. That's worth noting. If we increase popularity, we're more likely to win the next election, which is good to know. I'm going to turn down the overall sound. There you go. Okay, armies on the border. Up. You notice they're getting worried. There's a good reason for that, too. Alright. Damn it, I need to right-click to get to the country. Okay. So these are the diplomatic actions. The Senate is divided. Ah, we don't have the oratory power to fabricate a claim. That's fine. So if we fabricate a claim, it'll give us a casus belli, and everyone likes this idea. So that's fine. It'll give us a chance to improve. I would like you, gentlemen, to move into one province, and then I'll merge you together. Sabinia wants us to join a defensive league. Aren't you one of my peeps? No, you are not. Who is Sabinia? Oh, up here. I mean, Sabinia is actually kind of an easy punching bag. But I'm okay with doing this for now. It's good to have friends. Oh, something interesting happened. First, okay. When you export a resource, you get a bonus. And when you import one, you get a bonus. And we have it in the capital, you get a bonus. Here we get better triune discipline and an improvement of money. Okay. Ooh, it's the ascendance of Rome. The end of the recent conflict with our enemies in Etruria and Samnium has left our republic as the strongest power on the Italian peninsula. Our victors firmly convinced our feudatories in the value of supporting our cause and has shown other small states the value of being on our side. Roman settlers are now moving on their own accord into the regions to our north and east, establishing new colonies expecting our protection. Everyone now looks to us, from Samnium and Etruria to Sicily and Carthage awaiting our next move. So we gain claims on a few provinces, which is good. So now if we quickly look at our diplomatic, I'll get used to which buttons mean which, I promise. It'll just take some time. We have casus belli against Samnium, Etruria, Umbria, Placentia, Sabinia, Apulia, Ancona, Heraclea, and Sapontum. Which means we can basically declare war anytime we want to. Interesting. And here's our biggest problem, right? Samnium is only going to get stronger. Oh, let's find ourselves a new army. A new commander. We have a lot of Fabiuses. I'm willing to give you a shot. Your loyalty is good. You're not super popular, but you're not very prominent. There we go. And I'm going to have you pick shock action for now. Okay, we're going to move up this army. Lucania has offered us an alliance. Where's Luke? Interesting. So they're saying if we accept an alliance with Lucania, they're going to have to choose. Oh, this could be brilliant. Done. Because now... Okay. So here we can pick a province to take. And you'll notice Lucania will actually join us. Okay. Alright, we want the Senate to help us. Okay. If we boost one particular faction, we will get 5 tyranny. If I just declare war anyway, it'll increase it by 5. Okay, the religious faction's not super keen on it. I could try to boost the religious faction in other ways. Or just make the religious faction like me more. If I give him free hands, it'll increase his corruption, but also his loyalty. I could just try to become friends with him. There we go. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. I definitely don't want to waste too much time. I don't want him to get stronger. I can ruffle stomp you so bad. I could wait until one of these factions supports me more. I could make the religious faction like me more by appointing one of them to the government. Which faction? Military, religious, populist. I'd love to get the populist out, because populists are jerks. Alright. I definitely don't want a populist in. And I'd also like to make families a little happier with me. Gnaeus Flavius. Oh god, he's a populist. How are the Valerii? Are they, they could use some help. And these are the military faction. Let's go for it. I reckon it's actually made that position worse, but it's also one that I'm not as concerned about. Okay. Ooh. A previously unknown gladiator has recently risen to great prominence in the arena, drawing huge crowds and battle counts put on a peerless show. I do want the religious people to like me more. I could buy him and gift him to Publius. I'll lose civic power. I could pay a little bit of money. Oh, he personally would lose money. Okay. I'd rather sacrifice some civic power, actually. Attempted bribery. Ooh. We get a boost of commercial income, but I'll owe them a favor. If I say no, I lose stability? I have to do that. Oh, dear. I want to go to war so bad. It's so good to murder them right now. I'm gonna eat the tyranny. I don't want to wait. And we're basically gonna take everything. So yeah. Do it. That's fine. So you'll notice that tyranny reduces happiness and loyalty a bit. But that's alright. We're gonna attack you. And you're gonna move to a fort. Now, when you take a fort, it automatically will... Ooh, Sabinia wants an alliance, sure. We have too many relations, that's fine. Oh god, we're losing a lot of money because of our army maintenance. That's alright. We have a better general than he does, too. When you take a fort, everything around the fort will start to flip to your side ever so slowly. Okay, so we are likely to win this battle. They've only got archers and light infantry. Yeah, we're going to shock action them. Because they're not going to use a bottleneck or phalanx. It would be stupid for them to do so. Because they don't have people that can handle it. Okay. The benefits of power. Publius Cornelius Barbatus is the target of a brazenly outspoken critic who's been provoking his ire for some time. It seems a loudmouth is protected by political opponents of Publius and believes himself to be untouchable. I can impress the guy I want to make my friend. I'm going to say this is beneath us. I don't want to get more tyranny. Quintus is likely to be the next consul. Fair enough. He gets inflammation. Oh, here's a battle. Okay. So notice we've got our... These guys should not be in the center. They should be on the outside, so whatever. So yeah, you'll notice we both pick shock tactic, but it doesn't really matter. We do have a penalty because we're crossing a river. But we've got heavy infantry, and they don't. And we get a huge bonus against light infantry, so we're probably just going to crush them. I think we just wiped out their entire army. Damn, good work. Siege progress. Every so many days we'll roll a die, which will improve our siege progress. It needs to be above 0 to actually have a chance to flip the fort. But once you flip the fort, everything around it will start to change. All the blue are our allies. You can see they're doing some stuff. We could go ahead and increase things here. You'll notice things have already started to be flipped because my forts are having an impact on them. Yeah, this war... Okay. Our position offers many ways to publicly flatter Publius Cornelius Barbatus. Careful praise. Be sure to find a way back to his ears. Let's go ahead and sacrifice some religious power. Sacrifice a bull to his name. Moo moo, motherfucker. Oh god, our allies are so strong. This is a cakewalk. Aw, he don't want to be my friend. Well, fuck you then. Can I imprison him? You know what? A lot of people really don't like him. I could totally do that, but I'm not gonna. I frankly don't care if Sabinia leaves, because I can just raffle stomp them in the future. I am not scared of losing them. Yeah, he doesn't have anything important, so he can be as disloyal as he wants to be. We are taking attrition because of the sieges. I know what I was going to do. I want to quickly... Can I go back to where we won our battle? Next time we win a battle, I want to make sure that we have it set up so that I can see it. But I'm not going to worry about it. Up. Oh boy, I just got a new trait. That's not so good. We're now considered corrupt, which isn't super ideal, but I guess we'll just live with it for right now because there's not much else I can do. Okay, we finally have a positive, which means at any point we have a 21% chance that they'll surrender, which is really good. I don't care if you leave my defensive pact. I literally could not care less. Excellent, we won a siege. Pause when we win a siege automatically. So first of all, the commander won popularity, and we got some slaves, which is really good. And I'm going to go ahead and bring you back home so you don't take attrition anymore. And pretty soon this one's going to fall too. Sabinia. We have a son. Camillus Sempronius Sophus. You know what? I mean, if you guys don't want to be my friends, you can be conquered by me instead. That is totally your right. Are you forming, like, an alliance against me? Umbria and Picentia. Okay. The Senate wants me to leave the Defensive League. Yeah, this is pretty stupid. And you notice the Senate was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Because it wasn't in our interests. Now we can ruffle stomp them at our leisure. We've almost won the war. The moment this fort falls, we'll have 100%. Come on. Yeah! Oh, we didn't get any slaves that time. That's fine. Alright, 100%. Let's end this war. Okay. Now, we could annex the entire thing. That costs us 4 aggressive expansion, which isn't that much. Or it could force you to become my client state, which is less aggressive expansion. But we have very little aggressive expansion. There's really no reason not to eat this entire place. Not the least of which reason is this lets us connect these bits of Rome that we didn't have earlier. I think this is the way to go. We're going to eat all of their money. Okie dokie. And we're now going to be a regional power. Excellent. So, we can murder them all, which will increase my popularity. We can we can get rid of the important people, which will reduce our aggressive expansion, which isn't super high. We can imprison their leaders, or we can pass judgment on each family. I wouldn't mind losing 0.5 in aggressive expansion right away. Let's do it. We get a boost to capital import routes. We have diplomatic relations boost, a better diplomatic range, and we get a bonus from our government multiplier. There we go. Booyah. Okay. So all of a sudden, lots of people want to start trading with us. We are going to agree. Okay, we have some pops that are starving because you've been looted. So one thing we could do is we could relocate you somewhere. It'll increase our ruler corruption. I think we'll just kind of accept it for right now. That's fine. Yeah, we need to start importing trade routes. Okay. So, right now we have horses, which lets us build cavalry, which is good. What are the different benefits to different things? Right now I can import livestock, which would reduce the cost to promote freemen if I have livestock right now. I don't believe that I do. We already have a surplus of wine. We could get a surplus of olives, which would make slaves happier. That would be pretty good, actually. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make people happier. Here we go. And there you have it. Our first war. We're still kind of hemorrhaging money. I think we need to make some decisions to improve our wealth. Which will happen once we can start unlocking some inventions. For which I need oratory power, right? What do I need for inventions? I need oratory power. Yep. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, though. Is anyone particularly shitty at their jobs? You're only a... Oh, no, you're 10 in oratory. Okay. I could do better religiously. The Flavi... I really don't want to make him... Oh god, he's horrible. Never mind. Yeah, I can't really do much better than that. We'll get more characters as the game progresses. But, let me get you out of there. Let's get you to Luceria. I think that works. Just so we're not suffering attrition. Etruria wants an alliance, do they? I love that this highlights, by the way. Okay, here's the interesting question. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have a powerful friend and protect us to the north. They're clearly scared of us, which is very, very good. Oh, I want to conquer them. Okay, let's look at them. They got 21 cohorts, a little smaller than us, but still very respectable. 28 cities. We're going to want to conquer them at some point. But I think for right now, maybe we don't. I think maybe we take the offer. How are you guys feeling about... Yeah, you guys want to stomp on Sabinia. Let's do it. Let's go hardcore conquer mode for right now. Yes. We will not call Etruria. I want my subjects to be involved. I don't want Etruria involved just yet. So here's what we're going to do. If they bring in 2 allies, we can conquer their territory too. I like the sound of that a lot. But I think we're going to wait a tiny bit, because I want to make sure I got people in position. Yeah, but yeah, we're definitely going to do that. We're going to squish him. We're going to squish him good. Hey, we're actually making money now. Sweet. Yes. I want all the trade. Oh, Ancona just went to war with them. Interesting choice. I approve. Bam. Yes, please. Hi. Let's do it. This is a little bit bigger. This is a bigger war, but I think it's worth it based on what we can achieve out of this war. Okay, we've got a battle. Easy victory. Another victory. So right now these provinces don't have forts, which is why we're able to take them without winning a siege. We are going to move from this. We might actually lose this province. The city council loose area, but decided to freeze a sizable quantity of privately owned slaves. I can either increase the corruption of a governor and get some cash, or I can get some freemen. Freemen do provide manpower, even though they provide fewer taxes. Making him corrupt wouldn't be the worst idea, but no, I think we'll go ahead and go for freedom. Yep, you'll notice the moment I left, we started to lose it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna eat some attrition for a little bit until this fort is taken, and then we'll push forward. We're gonna eat as much land as we can. Ooh, invention, yes. I want to earn more money, but I also wouldn't mind a reduction in aggressive expansion. I can't do that. I can make omens more powerful, tempting. We don't need to fabricate claims right now. We can make tribes more productive, national tax, or commerce income. Right now we rely heavily on taxes. This is going to help us with the bottom line. Do it. Done. I want to try to take enough provinces that we can get ourselves a good governor. The recent work of plebeian jurist Gnaeus Flavius, his Legis Actionis, or Actions and Laws, the first written account of the legal procedures of Rome. The importance of this work propelled him to the office of Tribune of the Plebs and garnered him wide popular support. The full extent of interpretation of our laws has until now been a verbal tradition of our judiciary, and Flavius' attempt to codify parts of our legal procedures for a wide audience has not been wholly appreciated. Some patricians argue a public hearing of our sacred laws, by a plebeian no less, threatens their traditional prerogative over government positions in the laws of Rome, while the populace welcome greater rights and participation for the plebs. Okay, so we can either make the populace more powerful, which will give us for 20 years, make freemen happier, and make enacting new laws cheaper. Or we can still get that benefit until we can lose popularity, the party leader will like us less, tell him to pound sane to get more tyranny. I really don't want the populace getting into power. So I'm going to say no. And now we've got we have a cheaper ability to enact laws, right? Are there any laws we want to consider enacting? This is seriously an awesome law. A bonus to duration and loyalty for the Pontifex. This is so good. Why can't I pass these when I can't pass the others? Oh, I can pass all of them. Okay. This is such a good bonus. We can reduce unrest, improve happiness. We can make our subject states a lot more loyal. Make citizens better. Can I only pick one, or do they stack? We could pass the Lex Porcia, which reduces army maintenance cost and navy maintenance cost by 10%, but reduces our morale, which is actually pretty good right now. I kind of like the one we've got now. We don't really need manpower. We can make our slaves better. Wonder why I can take some of these but not others. That's not clear from the thing here. Oh, the Senate won't agree to it. Okay. So this is gonna cause some issues there. I'm gonna go with the Lex Licinia Mucia, which is gonna make our subject states more loyal and increase our citizens' output. Let's do it. Because it means more research. And research is good. We have a 1A siege. I would like to march into... Okay, you guys are taking care of that. If I take this province now, it'll stop them from finishing the fort, which is very good. I'm trying to figure out where the fort is in this area. There might not be one. I think we hit them so quickly they didn't have time to build a fort. Yeah, let's join this battle. Let's start crushing some people. This Drusus Cloelius guy was actually pretty tough. He beat our allies kind of bad a couple times. But we are victorious. I would like, if we might... if we win the war, we can go for a triumph. I don't want to hold games right now. Ooh, I could become dictator. I don't really want to do that, though. That strikes me as anti-Republican, and I really do want to try to build an actual republic. Okay, a province has been taken. I'm just going to sit here and let us regain our manpower until we can take this fortress. We could honestly use a few more cohorts. I think after we win this war, we're going to expand our army a bit. Oh god, what did you do, Etruria? Who the heck are these people? I mean, I could just decline, but yeah, I guess I'll accept it for right now. Let's get a new invention. Let's improve our commerce income. I want to get a good supply of money flowing in so that when the war finally ends, if the war ever ends, yes, please take attrition. That sounds delightful. Yes, all the military access. They don't realize it yet, but as soon as this fort falls, we're going to be in an awesome position to mess some people up. What are you doing? Oh, you're actually trying to win a siege of your own. Excellent. We have won a siege. Ancona gave us a gift. That's very kind of them. We have a daughter. Okay. If I can eat Picenum and Sabinia, I will get out of this war rather than fight this giant army. Okay. This is beautiful. This is all the territory I wanted. I can crank up the cash. I think this is good enough. I'm not willing to keep fighting. Give me the stuff. And let's lose some aggressive expansion. Oh, look at that. Look how sexy this is. This is good stuff. Okay. We are going to hold ourselves a triumph. Why can't I hold one? Less than 720 days? It's in less than 720 days since my last victory. I don't know what's going on. But what matters is that Rome is a great deal stronger than it was earlier. And I think in our next episode, we're gonna expand the legions a bit. I would very much like to have more armies for when we do eventually go after Etruria. We can push toward the toe. Lucania is certainly no one's idea of a threat. Although you have 21 cohorts, I think that's our next step. So I'm going to order you to start moving south. I'm going to tell you to move a bit more centrally. But for now, I want to thank you for watching this very first episode of Imperator Rome. I hope you guys are enjoying the game so far. Next episode, we're going to push into the toe, I think. Build ourselves up nice and strong for when we do eventually go after Etruria. But that'll be for next time. Until then, thank you for watching. This has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.